The Springboks are entering one of the biggest challenges of the international rugby calendar with renewed confidence, renewed depth, and perhaps most importantly, renewed belief. As anticipation builds for the blockbuster rugby's greatest rivalry series against the All Blacks, Rassie Erasmus has unveiled a 43-man squad that has already sparked passionate debate across the rugby world. There are obvious winners, surprising omissions, and several fascinating selection calls that could shape South Africa's season. But above everything else, one message stands out loud and clear: the Springboks are getting healthier at exactly the right time. After battling an extensive injury list during the Nations Championship, the reigning world champions suddenly find themselves welcoming back an incredible group of experienced stars just as the toughest tests of the year arrive. That timing could prove priceless as South Africa prepares to take on New Zealand before another demanding encounter with Argentina. The biggest boost comes with the return of three towering figures, Evan Roos, Siya Kolisi, and Sasha Feinberg-Ngomezulu. Their recoveries dramatically strengthen an already formidable squad and give Erasmus even more tactical flexibility. Feinberg-Ngomezulu, whose dazzling performances at fly half last season thrilled Springbok supporters, looked set for another impressive campaign before injury interrupted his momentum. Fortunately for South Africa, his setback was less severe than first feared, and now he appears ready to challenge for a starting role just when creativity and attacking flair will be needed most against the All Blacks. Equally significant is the return of Captain Kolisi, whose leadership and relentless work rate have become synonymous with Springbok rugby. While his absence allowed rising star Paul de Villiers to showcase his remarkable talent, having Kolisi back provides an emotional and tactical lift that few teams in world rugby can match. Then there is Etzebeth, whose influence extends far beyond statistics. His physical presence, defensive dominance, and unmatched experience instantly elevate South Africa's forward pack. His return also transforms what had briefly become a position of concern into one of incredible strength. Alongside fellow World Cup winners Lud de Jager and Franco Mostert, the Springboks suddenly possess one of the most experienced second-row combinations in international rugby once again. Together, these veteran locks bring nearly 300 test caps back into the squad, creating an intimidating foundation for the battles that lie ahead. While RG Snyman remains unavailable, the emergence of Cobus Wies and Ron Nortje, combined with the return of proven campaigners, means South Africa's engine room is once again in outstanding condition. The positive news doesn't stop there. Fly half Handré Pollard has recovered from his hamstring injury, creating an exciting selection headache alongside Feinberg-Ngomezulu. Few nations can boast two world-class playmakers competing for the same jersey, and for Erasmus, that is exactly the kind of problem every coach dreams of having. At scrum half, Morn van den Berg also returns after injury, replacing Ambrose Papier and adding further depth to an already competitive position. Meanwhile, versatile backs Kanan Moody, Ethan Hooker, and Andre Esterhuizen have all returned to full fitness, giving South Africa even more options across multiple positions. With versatility becoming increasingly valuable in modern Test rugby, those returns could prove decisive during a demanding international schedule. One of the squad's most intriguing success stories belongs to young fly half Fusey Moyo. At just 20 years old and with only 2 professional matches behind him, many expected the talented youngster to step aside once senior stars became available again. Instead, Erasmus has shown enormous faith by keeping him involved. Although the Springbok coach admitted Moyo looked understandably nervous during his debut against Wales, he also saw enough promise to continue investing in his development. Remaining inside the national setup allows the youngster to learn directly from experienced internationals like Pollard and Feinberg-Ngomezulu, an opportunity that could accelerate his growth into one of South Africa's future stars. Even if playing opportunities remain limited in the coming weeks, simply training alongside world champions may prove invaluable. Another undeniable winner is Paul de Villiers, whose rise has been nothing short of spectacular. When injuries sidelined senior loose forwards, few could have predicted just how confidently the young Stormers star would seize his opportunity. Match after match, de Villiers displayed maturity beyond his years, delivering powerful performances against England, Scotland, and Wales while earning the Player of the Match award in his most recent appearance. Filling the famous number 6 jersey is never an easy task, especially when stepping in for a leader like Kolisi, but de Villiers embraced the responsibility with remarkable composure. His performances have not only secured his place within the squad but also created genuine competition for starting positions, exactly the environment Erasmus has worked so hard to create. Yet every squad announcement also produces disappointment, and perhaps no omission has generated more discussion than that of Evan Roos. Once viewed as one of South Africa's brightest loose forward prospects, Roos once again finds himself outside the main group ahead of one of the biggest series of the year. With experienced internationals returning from injury and younger rivals taking full advantage of their opportunities, competition has become fiercer than ever. While Roos remains a talented player capable of forcing his way back into future squads, this latest selection serves as a reminder that the Springboks are operating with extraordinary depth, where every jersey must be earned through consistent excellence. As preparations begin for clashes that will capture the attention of rugby fans around the world, the overall picture is overwhelmingly positive for South Africa.
The countdown to one of rugby's greatest spectacles has officially begun, and with every squad announcement the excitement only grows stronger. The Springboks are preparing to renew their legendary rivalry with the All Blacks before travelling to face Argentina, and Rassie Erasmus has delivered a selection that has the rugby world talking. Packed with returning world champions, rising stars, and a handful of controversial decisions, the 43-man squad tells a fascinating story about where South African rugby stands today. Some players have been handed golden opportunities, others have seen their stock rise dramatically, while a few big names have been left wondering what more they need to do. Yet above all else, this announcement sends one unmistakable message: the Springboks are getting healthier, stronger, and more dangerous just in time for the biggest challenges of the season. After navigating the nation's championship with a lengthy injury list and relying heavily on emerging talent, South Africa suddenly finds itself blessed with an embarrassment of riches. It is a position every international coach dreams of, but it also creates difficult decisions that can shape careers and define seasons. For Rassie Erasmus, those decisions are becoming increasingly complex because almost every position is now overflowing with quality. The biggest winners are undoubtedly the 10 players returning from injury, whose arrivals transform an already impressive squad into one capable of challenging any team in world rugby. Few returns carry as much significance as those of Eben Etzebeth, Siya Kolisi, and Sasha Feinberg-Mngomezulu. Each brings something completely different to the Springboks, yet together they represent leadership, experience, creativity, and unmatched competitive spirit. Etzebeth remains one of rugby's most feared second-row forwards, a player capable of changing the tone of a test match with a single dominant tackle, towering line-out steal, or relentless carry into heavy traffic. His absence during the opening stages of the international season was noticeable, not because South Africa lacked effort, but because replacing a player of his stature is almost impossible. Now, with Etzebeth back in contention, the Springbok pack immediately regains its intimidating edge. Opponents know exactly what is coming, yet stopping him has never been easy. Alongside fellow veterans Lud de Jager and Franco Mostert, South Africa suddenly possesses one of the deepest lock combinations in international rugby once again. Their combined experience stretches across multiple rugby championship campaigns, World Cups, and unforgettable battles against New Zealand, England, France, Ireland, and countless other elite nations. Even without R.G. Snyman, who remains unavailable, the Springbok engine room suddenly looks loaded with world-class talent capable of dominating both set-piece and open play. Equally important is the return of captain Siya Kolisi, whose influence stretches far beyond what appears on the statistics sheet. Every successful international team needs leaders who inspire teammates during difficult moments, and few captains embody that role better than Kolisi. His absence allowed others to step forward, but his return instantly raises the emotional energy inside the squad. The Springbok captain understands the pressure of facing the All Blacks perhaps better than anyone currently wearing green and gold. He has lifted World Cups, overcome adversity, and consistently delivered when the stakes were highest. His leadership cannot be measured purely in tackles or carries, it is reflected in the confidence his teammates gain simply by seeing him walk onto the field. Yet his comeback also creates one of the most fascinating selection dilemmas of the season because Paul de Villiers has made an enormous statement during Kolisi's absence. Many supporters expected the young loose forward merely to survive at test level, but instead he has flourished against England, Scotland, and Wales. Match after match he displayed remarkable composure, relentless work ethic, and outstanding defensive instincts. By the time he collected the Player of the Match award against Wales, there was little doubt that he had become one of the breakout stars of the international season. Rather than simply filling the famous number 6 jersey, de Vries made it his own, proving he belongs among the very best. Now Erasmus faces a welcome headache. Does he immediately restore his experienced captain to the starting lineup, or does he reward the player who has exceeded every expectation? Whichever decision he makes, the Springboks emerge stronger because genuine competition drives elite performance. Another major boost comes through the return of Sasha Fynbog, whose natural attacking instincts have made him one of South Africa's most exciting young playmakers. Last season, he demonstrated the ability to unlock stubborn defensive lines while remaining calm under pressure, and many believed he was on course to cement himself as the Springboks' long-term fly half before injury interrupted his progress. Thankfully for South African supporters, his recovery has progressed quicker than expected. His availability dramatically changes the attacking possibilities available to Erasmus, particularly against a New Zealand side that traditionally punishes predictable game plans. Fynbog offers unpredictability, vision, and confidence with ball in hand, qualities that can shift momentum in an instant. Yet his return also reunites him with Handré Pollard, whose own recovery from a hamstring injury creates another fascinating battle. Pollard remains one of rugby's most reliable big match performers, famous for his calm decision-making, tactical kicking, and flawless goal-kicking under immense pressure. The prospect of having both players fully fit gives South Africa two completely different but equally dangerous options at fly half. One offers proven championship-winning experience, while the other represents the exciting future of Springbok rugby. Rather than creating uncertainty, it gives Erasmus tactical flexibility that few international coaches enjoy. The depth extends far beyond those headline names. Scrum half Morn van den Berg returns after recovering from injury, strengthening another position where competition is becoming increasingly fierce.